I know kids love kind of like the juice box experience. Although if you think about it, it's a horrible experience. The straw is always impossible to get into the juice box or the juice pouch, and then you always have to yell at kids, "Don't squeeze it!" That's good. Good morning. It is Thursday, a little bit before 6 in the morning. Not going for my morning run this week. My wife has been out of town for work. I think she's in Los Angeles. She's in Los Angeles. So the girls are both sleeping still. So I've been, since I'm alone, I've been moving my runs back to the afternoon for the run commute. Even though I did say just last week that I'm switching back to mornings. When my wife's out of town, that's all I can do. But today, what I wanted to do is, we were running towards the end of this jar of Nutella. So I thought I would try making some coffee in it to just make use of all the rest. You know, waste not, want not, or reduce, reuse, and recycle. And speaking of reduce, reusing, and recycling, I've got a couple of packages I want to open, some things that I ordered for my daughter. I pack her a lunch every morning. Mostly that's because she has a peanut allergy. And secondarily, it's because she's a very picky eater. She has pretty much the same thing every day. But she's been having like a juice box or juice bag pouch every day, and that's kind of been, I feel like, a little bit wasteful. And I thought that maybe there are ways that we can reduce some of the trash that I'm creating through her. A lot of this came from the other day we were at the Shed Aquarium and we were at the aquatic show, and they talked about how the entire aquarium there, you can't get a straw. It's a very kid-friendly place, but there's no straws in the entire building. And it used to be years ago that they would say the reason why they didn't have straws is that they didn't want them to accidentally end up in like a tank or an exhibit. And then at some point, like last year, they switched the rationale for why they don't have straws as being a way of eliminating single-use plastics. So I'm not really sure what the real reason is, but right now they're pushing this idea of eliminating single-use plastics. I like the idea of reducing the amount of garbage we have in total, from both like a clutter and minimalism perspective. Not that I'm a pure minimalist. Look at this place. But I like the idea of like being more mindful of what we're bringing into our homes, what we're consciously creating. Even though I did use a Keurig today. I don't really know which one's in these packages, but I'll kind of go over them as I open them. It comes wrapped in a sleeve and then individually wrapped, but these are sauce ramekins. My daughters both love ketchup. I love ketchup, but my daughters really love ketchup. And a lot of times you pour some ketchup, squirt it out on their plate, and they just kind of shove it around, and then they ask for more ketchup even though their plate is covered in ketchup. I thought maybe if I can kind of confine it to a little ramekin, that might help. That's not purely a reduce, reuse, recycle kind of thing, but it'll make my life a lot easier. And so when we have pancakes, they like to have their syrup to dip in. That's how I like to do it. And ketchup, I think this will be really helpful because really all the girls are eating right now is chicken nuggets. Next on the list, this is for me. This is another one of those USB kind of charging hubs. I just need another one. But this is what I got for my daughter. Package looks really long, but it's deceptive because it is a set of reusable silicone straws. Now we have like plastic straws that are reusable that we've got, I think, with like back when mason jars were like the rage. And so like there was this set, it came with mason jars and a lid that was decorative and had a hole in it. And it came with a large plastic straw. Those are way too big for my daughter to manage. All that ends up happening is it becomes a really nice fulcrum point for them to like accidentally spill the contents of their drinks. This is a little bit more appropriately sized for a kid's cup, and so that's what I wanted to get here. And it came with a cleaning brush. We already have tons of these kinds of brushes because of the baby, but this will be useful. By the way, none of this stuff is sponsored. None of this stuff got sent to me. This is stuff I bought with my own money, and I'm gonna be using in our own house. And then the last thing that I got, I'm pretty excited about, are these. These are reusable juice boxes. So I know kids love kind of like the juice box experience. Although if you think about it, it's a horrible experience. The straw is always impossible to get into the juice box or the juice pouch, and then you always have to yell at kids, don't squeeze it, because otherwise juice gets everywhere, and yet still kids love it. This is our third one of these. I got a pink one and a purple one already, but my daughter liked them so much she asked for blue color for some reason. It's a little bit bigger than a juice box in terms of volume, and it works pretty simply. You just pull it out, and here's the juice box part. Put your juice in here. I usually fill it up to about the D. That's what my 6-year-old tends to drink. I've tried filling it up to kind of like the top, which is hard to guess where the top is because there's no marking for like a fill line for when you then put the top back on. But when I have tried to fill it, it always comes home with a little extra juice at the bottom. So I fill it kind of to the top of the D. That's what works for her. And then there's a straw that comes out, and then this part that you can clean and get in there with a scrub brush too. The only thing I don't like about it is that this entire system relies on suction, right? And I feel like I'll probably be fine with this because I'm hand washing it. But if you're gonna put this in a dishwasher frequently, I feel like that heat repeatedly is going to wear on those seals. And so I already have concerns about this product opening accidentally in her bag. And so because this doesn't like latch in or clip in, you just push in real hard, and then this does close, and it uses kind of like a pinch the straw method to keep everything from spilling. I was always worried when I looked at this product online that this thing would just explode and spill all over the place. We've been using it for about a week now, the purple and pink one that we have. And so far we've had one spill, or I think this is our second week using it. We've had one spill, and that was mostly because I had left this in her bag over the weekend. And I don't know if just over time, I think what happened is this popped open. She had liquid left in there, and then it just kind of leaked out. I'm not sure if it leaked out through the straw or through the seal. I'm not sure. But if anytime that I'm a little bit more thoughtful about it and get this juice box out of her bag at the end of the day or even just the following morning, we've been fine. Everything's been really nice and dry. I also try to pack it so that way this latch isn't placed face down, so that way there's no like weight being placed on it. I was trying to kind of face it up in her bag so that way nothing will accidentally press it down. All right, so that's just some of the stuff that I've been buying to try and kind of reduce the amount of waste that we're creating in our house. It's a lot more work for me, especially since I do all the dishes and we don't have a dishwasher and I have to hand wash everything. But ultimately, I think it's worth it. We're trying to kind of think about the things that we're buying that are single use and removing those to the extent that we can. But baby steps.
Yo, what's going on?